Hello class and welcome to this Metal Gear NES walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Brigands. I'm your instructor, Professor Brigands, and let's be honest, no one knows what to do in this game. We didn't as kids, we don't as adults, but we've got you covered here on Video Games 101. Metal Gear is one of those games which somehow managed to toe the line between being mind-numbingly confusing and difficult while simultaneously taking its rightful place as a classic. In terms of difficulty, I'm going to go ahead and give Metal Gear for the NES a 9 out of 10, which on the frustration scale equates to writhing around on the floor, cursing in tongues, probably because you just have no idea where to go. Maybe the floor unaccountably swallowed you up. You just hemorrhaged life when you stepped on the wrong area of the screen and just got swarmed by enemies. There's so many different ways to lose in this game, but don't worry. We got you covered in this Metal Gear NES walkthrough. We're going to be covering every single weapon, every single item, the exact, I think, most efficient route to take to beat this game. It's kind of open-ended, different ways you can go, but ultimately, I think we've got this boiled down to just the essentials while giving you the full experience at the same time. So, does that contradict itself? I don't know. Let's run the intro. This is a bit of a long one and get into this Metal Gear NES walkthrough right here on Video Games 101. Alright, as we begin a new game, we parachute into the action, and let's take a look at the controls for Metal Gear. We can punch and advance dialogue with B. A does pretty much everything else, fires our weapon, uses the inventory items we have selected. Hit select to access the weapons, equipment, or transceiver screens. Transceiver is how we contact Big Boss and other contacts, message them. Let's take a look now at the Briggs notes, the keys to beating Metal Gear in this Metal Gear NES walkthrough. First, use the pause hack on items and pits. We can also reset bosses with the pause hack. We'll talk more about this as we get into the game, but number 2, rescue the hostages, don't shoot them to level up, be able to carry more items. You get checkpoints if you lose again as well, and you can continue back from that spot. Number 3, use binoculars and position yourself well on new screens so that you don't get in the sight line of enemies, and lastly, be aware of the sight lines of enemies so that you can get the jump on them on each screen. Stealth is obviously a big part of this game. You just run by this dog right here, but if you wait long enough for these early enemies, they'll just fall asleep on their patrols. Just make sure you're out of their sight lines here. We're using the trees of the jungle as cover. Sneak up on them, just punch him a few times as we enjoy that bad localization there. I feel asleep. That's up there with The Winner Is You and You Feel Strength in Your Body, and there's more from this one. The truck have started to move. Anytime we get onto a screen with a new item, we can generally go into our transceiver and call Big Boss. Early on in the game, his frequency is 12085. We'll have an updated list of all the frequencies in just a minute. But Blaze, how about those binoculars? Alright, the binoculars. You get these early on, use these to see what is going on in the next room, if there are enemies, where they're positioned so that you can react accordingly. Thank you, Blaze. Yeah, we have our own in-house items expert in Blaze, so we'll generally defer to him over Big Boss, but just know that that option is there. As we take cover and observe the movements of our enemy, make sure they're not looking in this direction before we pop down here and give them a few punches. 3 should take him down. Eventually we'll get ourselves a handgun, so we won't really be as concerned about lining up these punches and staying stealthy, especially after we get the silencer for the handgun. Naturally, let's pull up the Metal Gear NES frequency list. You'd see them all right here. Note that they'll change after you access Base 2, which you need that enemy uniform to access, but there you go. All the codes for this part and then later on in the game. And we have it time-stamped if you need to refer back to it at any point. We have the first of many keycards. We'll have Blaze talk about the keycards a little bit later, but go into this bottom right truck and we'll get another bad localization right here. The truck have started to move. Uh-oh, indeed. This is going to drop us in front of the first base. We need that key card which we just picked up to unlock that door. Make sure that it's selected in your inventory to use it, otherwise that door will not open. Before we head inside though, we're going to pop into this top left truck, just go in the back here, and we have a very, very important item in the rations. Blaze, what can you tell us about the rations?
Alright, the rations refill your health to full every time you use one, which is why it's very important that you stock up on them using the Professor's Briggs note that he mentioned at the start of this class. But yeah, the rations. Stock up on these, the game becomes a lot more manageable.
Yes, every time you go into your transceiver screen when there's rations or ammo, things like that which respawn, then you come back out of that menu and they will magically have respawned on the screen. So, easy way to max out your rations, your ammo, to whatever the cap is at your current rank. So, use the key card to enter this building up north. Still going to be stealthy until we get ourselves our first weapon. Call Big Boss here, and he's pretty much giving you the watered down Briggs notes. Yeah, it's goes without saying, you should try to get some ammo and weapons if you can, but just a bit of an overview from Big Boss there, the Big Boss, the Biggs notes, I suppose. I think I mentioned this as part of the Briggs notes, but your rank goes up the more POWs you save. So you want to make it a point not to kill any POWs as your rank goes down at that point. But Blaze, gas mask, what do we got?
Alright, the gas mask. This protects Snake from rooms with gas. Unfortunately, like so many other things, Snake can only wear one thing or do one thing at a time, so you gotta put this on very quickly when you enter a room. But yeah, as soon as you see that gas, pop on the mask.
Thank you, Blaze. Yeah, we're still showing you a lot of these exchanges with Big Boss. It's very rarely necessary that you actually need to call any of your contacts, but just in the interest of showing more of the game and things like that, then we're going ahead and doing that. Just part of the experience. You can sneak up here as all the guards are looking to the left. And this is a good chance to show off the pit trick. You see it opening up there. Go into your weapons menu or items menu, and that'll freeze the pit where it was. Granted, it'll be invisible, but it will not be any wider than it would have gotten. Handgun?
Alright, the handgun fires a very thin shot across the room in a straight line, but very effective for large stretches in this game. Use the Professor's Briggs notes, stock up on ammo, and yeah, just fire away.
And the landmines?
Alright, the landmines. Very useful against one boss in particular. Gary will talk about it. You can drop 3 at a time. They don't explode until something trips it, but there you go. The landmines.
Thanks, Blaze. Yeah, that's another instance where we can use the respawn trick to max out our landmines for whatever max we have at our current rank. Those go up by 5, so 5 for rank 1, 10 for rank 2, and then rank 4, 20, so there you go. Sometimes you just want to reset the group so that you can sneak through all the baddies knowing where they're going to be. Whenever you take an elevator, you have to push up, basically to the level that you want to get off on. Here it was pretty straightforward. Alright, if we hug the wall here, we can avoid the cameras. I think Big Boss will tell us as much. Just switching it from receive to send when you want to reach out and try to make contact with one of your contacts. In this case, yeah, he wasn't calling us, but we can still get the tip if we give him a call in that situation. Alright, so the ammo for our handgun, which is just a paperweight right now, is in this room. It's spread all across the game, but this is the first instance where we can grab some, and it's the same trick. Any kind of ammo we can respawn right here. The max at rank number 1 is 50. Rank 2 is 100, rank 3 is 200, and then rank 4, the top rank, is 250 bullets. So we'll make sure that we're maxed out at 50 for the time being. Rescue this POW. Pop on your gas mask as soon as you come in here. Unfortunately, you can't simultaneously carry keycard 1 and put on a gas mask, as ridiculous as that is, but anyway. Wanted to mention Blaze, bring you in real quick. I noticed we have the cigarettes in our inventory. We didn't talk about those.
Alright, the cigarettes. We here at Video Games 101 do not encourage you to develop the habit, but use this very late in Metal Gear, and this will unaccountably give you 1,000 more seconds. I put that in quotes because they move very quickly, which is why you might want to use this at the end of the game. Not to give anything away, but the professor will mention it later on in the game.
Good call. Thank you very much, Blaze. And then you got to take it off to use the key card again, so if you're quick, you might just take 1 damage, or sometimes you can get out without getting hit at all, but a little silly. Be nice if the key cards were just kind of automatic, but again, nitpicking a game which came out 35 plus years ago, or whatever it is at this point. Every 5 POWs you save, your rank will go up, so you'll have more life, you'll get higher caps on all of your ammo. These guys are not the smartest. Their little synchronized line and everything. This is an instant death if this roller goes over you here. Get Big Boss's take on the plastic explosives, even though we have Blaze to use it anywhere you like. You know, an old folks' home, children's birthday party, your ex's place of work. Okay, Big Boss, still stinging over that breakup, but no, I don't need counseling. Not so sure about that, Big Boss. Blaze, can you give us a normal description of the plastic explosives?
Alright, the plastic explosives, you're going to use these very late in the game against the penultimate boss. Gary's going to talk about it, but there you go. The plastic explosives, drop them one at a time.
Thanks, Blaze. Yeah, we will not need those until very late in the game, but Gary will talk more about that when the time comes. Again, generally speaking, we're going to be showing you the most direct route in this game, but every now and then we're going to double back and make sure that we're topped off on whether it's handgun ammo or explosive ammo or just rations. Just want to make sure that we're always topped off, especially with the latest rank that we are currently on. Make this game a little easier, and you can use those rations to top off your health without worry. And now with an overview on the key cards, here's Blaze.
Alright, the key card, the access card. Use this to unlock doors, but why, for the love of God, are there 8 of these in this game? I don't have a problem with there being 8 generally, but the fact that you need to go into your inventory, find the right key card again and again and again, it's very realistic. I'll give the game that, but very frustrating. Reaching around, fishing for the right key card over and over again, the more key cards you have, but there you go. Key cards for advancing the plot of the game.
Yeah, probably the most frustrating thing about this game is the fact that you have to go into your inventory to pull out the right key card. It'd be nice if it just had the right key card, if it just kind of passively unlocked the door. But yeah, you have to take off your gas mask to pull out the right key card. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but we can forgive that, and otherwise fantastic game. So we can't get through here yet until we have some remote guided missiles. We can give Schneider a call here. His frequency 12079. Leader of the Resistance, Kyle Schneider. So I have to backtrack a little bit to find those remote guided rockets, those missiles. They're not too far from here, thankfully. Problem with firing our handgun before we have the silencer is that it will not only alert these guards, but oftentimes bring other guards from the outside to the screen, so that's why we're still playing it quiet for the most part, unless we're in a situation where our stealth has already been compromised, in which case just fire away. Again, we can hug the walls to avoid these cameras, generally speaking, or just hide behind some sort of cover. Still relatively easy when we only have 2 key cards, but now that we have the second one, we can open this door and get the remote guided missiles and Blaze.
Alright, the remote guided missile, very useful against a couple bosses, taking down security systems. You can turn the direction of the missile on demand with the D-pad, and yeah, just guide it around some walls. It's a little tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be controlling it like a champ.
Thank you very much, Blaze. And these follow the same pattern for the upgrades as the plastic explosives do. 5 for rank 1, 10 for rank 2, 3 for rank 15, and, I'm sorry, strike that, reverse it. 15 for rank 3, 20 for rank 4. You know what I'm trying to say. But now that we have these, we can go over and destroy the mechanism for the, I guess it's an electrified floor, whatever it is. It's not fun to walk on while it's engaged, so hug the wall there, avoid the cameras, and this takes a little bit of work, like Blaze said. Just, you'll get used to it, but fire it with A, and then just, it's quick, so there's also a slight delay too, I find, so it's good to keep that in mind and maybe turn a split second before you normally would to make the most of the getting it to go where you want it to go. Take out this guard here, and it's easy to miss some of these doors. They kind of blend in with the walls sometimes, but I think we'll need keycard 1 for this door, where we'll find, I don't know if this is our 3rd or 4th resistance, or POW, and he'll tell us Diane's frequency, another resistance member who actually knows tips on taking down a lot of the bosses. Of course, we have our own in-house boss expert. We'll refer to him once we come up on our first boss, which we're not too far off from actually at this stage in the game, but Diane's out shopping. Yeah, you have to expect a response like that from a game in 1989. Oh well, you don't get that kind of message from the leader of the Resistance, Kyle Schneider. He's not out shopping when we need him the most. Different time, different time. The enemy movements are a bit random sometimes. There we go, we can just thread the needle and avoid damage. Like so right there. Thankfully the alert doesn't carry over to a different screen. One screen over, you think they could clearly see what just happened one screen over, but not the case. Must not have had their binoculars out. And what do we got here? Let's see what Big Boss says about this. It's annoying when the frequencies are that far apart, but what say you, Big Boss? Cardboard? What's going on? Are you planning to move or something? Alright, well, seeing as Big Boss is completely useless, let's bring in Blaze for an overview on the cardboard box.
Alright, the classic of the Metal Gear series, the cardboard box. Wear this, and you won't alert guards or cameras in some situations, assuming you're completely still but very stealthy. The cardboard box. No one suspects a thing.
Sneaky, sneaky. I like it. I like that they kept this around for so many subsequent entries in the Metal Gear series. But yeah, it all started right here. And here we go. Blaze.
Alright, the silencer automatically gets applied to the handgun as soon as you pick it up. Allows you to fire your handgun without alerting the enemies in the rooms. You can take out enemies one at a time without them swarming you. Very useful item.
And the grenade launcher, Blaze?
Alright, the grenade launcher. This lobs grenades at your target. Very useful against certain bosses. Gary will talk more about it, but there you go, the grenade launcher.
Thank you, Blaze. And the numbers on the grenade launcher for each rank, 15, 30, 60, and 90 for the top rank. Although that being said, you won't need that many grenades in this game. Now, as you're following along, let's go to Fluff for our first Fluff fact about Metal Gear. Fluff?
Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear is credited as being one of the games which truly popularized stealth in video games, but ironically, like so many innovations or successes, it was born out of a workaround. Konami initially asked one of their developers to make a more conventional action combat game for the MSX2. Early on in the development, he discovered that too many sprites on the screen introduced flickering and slowdowns, which made featuring multiple enemies and bullets on the screen at once impractical. Kojima was subsequently asked to come on board and take over the project to see if he could solve this problem. Out of necessity, he shifted the focus of the game from actively taking on multiple enemies to avoiding these confrontations altogether whenever possible, drawing from classic cinema in The Great Escape and imagining his character relying on stealth to escape from an enemy prison undetected.
Thank you very much, Fluff. Yeah, there was nothing like this game when it came out. Still nothing like it. As I, don't even try to be stealthy there, but we'll try the cardboard box when we come back out. This should be enough for rank 2, though. Celebrate by popping on that cardboard box when we get back outside. Going in the inventory here. Very sneaky. Can't move, though, when we're wearing this, see? Move and the camera will say, well, that's not normal for a cardboard box to demonstrate that kind of behavior. And we can move into position when they're not looking, but then otherwise if they look straight at us when we're holding still in the box, it's all good. It's all good. It's not really that worth using all that often, especially now that we have the silencer. We can just start blasting away a little bit. Especially now that we have more bullets for rank 2. Just doubled our capacity, so 100 bullets once we find some more ammunition. Make it a point to top off on that. Need keycard 2 for this particular door. Just one of those things you would think in testing, maybe. I don't know. Submachine gun, Blaze.
The submachine gun sprays bullets left and right. You might get some use out of that, especially if you've stocked up a lot of bullets late in the game, but there you go, the submachine gun.
Thank you, Blaze. And just for a laugh, pop on our cardboard box and slide into this truck right here. Just makes me laugh, because you always get caught here. Why would you throw off the cardboard box as soon as someone spots you? That's the whole point, Snake. Come on now. Alright, so we've been captured. We lost all of our stuff. They didn't take our transceiver for some reason. I think there's a hint there saying that we need to go over to the left wall and try knocking on it, punching it. Right there. Hidden area right there. You can see we have nothing. Nothing right now. And somehow a door, like a proper door, just filled in that hole that we punched right there. So Gray Fox is telling us they're constructing a weapon called Metal Gear, which don't get too excited. This is the NES version. Fluff is going to talk about that a little bit later, but if the enemy completes it, they can launch a nuclear attack from any spot. Again, don't get too worried about that possibility. This is, again, the NES version. But yeah, no, we'll do our best. I gotta talk to Dr. Pettrovich, or Petrovic. Only one who knows how to take it down. Where might we find him? Oh, he's a prisoner. We have to rescue him. Add it to the list then. Dr. Pettrovich is our princess for this game. I guess all the POWs we've been rescuing as well, but that's kind of secondary. Strictly speaking, you don't really need to rescue many of them, or I guess any if you use a code to get to the end of the game. Kind of difficult, though, to beat this game on rank level 1. Not impossible, but yeah, it's much more difficult. Shotgunner. No one has ever escaped from here. I love that he says that, and then a couple seconds later. So let's try calling in the game's resident boss expert, Diane, on her frequency of 120.33. So she was shopping earlier, now she's in the shower. It's, yeah. Alright. One heck of a resistance member there. This is all of our stuff. Our weapons. I like that he includes us in that. Thanks, Snake. Alright, so we have our first boss battle coming up right here. If Diane's not going to help us, actually even if she did, let's go to Gary for tips on taking down Shoot Gunner.
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters. Alright, the first boss in Metal Gear, Shoot Gunner. Not difficult at all. You stand in front of the door from the equipment room, you want to fire the bullets or missiles. It takes 10 or 4 landing to take him down. Get a few shots off, then retreat behind that wall to the right whenever you need to. Pop back out, get some shots off. You'll take him down.
Good call, Gary. Thank you very much. And you'll notice if you go into your inventory now, you'll see when we pull out our next key card that we have a strange new item in our inventory that I don't remember picking up. Blaze?
Alright, the transmitter. You're probably wondering when the heck did I pick this up? If you get captured in the game, the enemies will essentially bug you with this transmitter so that anytime you go into a room with enemies, they'll immediately be alerted to your presence. So, if you ever open your inventory and see this item, make sure you drop it as soon as possible just to make the game a little bit more manageable.
Guess that's how that dog knew we were coming, had the jump on us earlier. Apparently the dog is wired into our transmitter feed, but Real Man doesn't use body armor. Blaze.
Alright, the bulletproof vest. Big Boss says real men don't use them, but if you wear this, it'll cut your damage in half from bullets. I'd wear it. I would wear it.
I'm with you, Blaze. Yeah, this is no time for pride when we're behind enemy lines and there's hundreds of enemy soldiers who want us dead, but anyway, what do we got here? The bomb blast suit.
Alright, the blast suit. You'd think this would protect you from explosions, but it actually anchors you down in one particular screen of the game so that the gusty winds don't push you back. But yeah, make sure you wear this at the right time, as the professor will mention, but there you go, the blast suit.
Alright, be using that before too long. Let's see what the Big Boss says about the enemy uniform right here. It's good for a laugh every now and then. Cute little sailor suits over. Starting to really question your expertise, Big Boss. Once again, let's go to Blaze.
Alright, the enemy uniform. We're gonna trick some guards in a very specific point in the game by wearing this. The professor will tell you when to wear it, but there you go. Trick some guards here in Metal Gear to get past them with the enemy uniform.
Good call, Blaze. Yes, we'll be using that to access building number 2, which we mentioned from the Briggs notes earlier. If you go too high here, you'll see there's, right there, landmines hidden. Use rations as necessary. Let's drop that transmitter now. Just go into your inventory, select it, and just select it as if you're going to use it. Hit the button and you'll drop it right there on the spot. So you can expect a swarm of enemies arriving at this truck in just a moment. That's not true, but realistically, I think there would be. So we can now max out at 6 rations. Might as well top yourself off before your health, that is, before you top off your rations there. Make sure you have 6 once you're on rank 2. Go south here, enter this top left truck, and we can stock up and get some more plastic explosives now. You have 10 as the max. Again, 15 on rank 3 and 20 at the final rank. Not that necessary, strictly speaking, at this point in the game. We won't need these for a little bit, but it was right here, so stop off. Now we're going to head into this bottom truck to grab keycard number 4. One more word on the body armor, which Big Boss says real men don't wear. I would say the only reason that real men wouldn't wear the body armor, and the only reason which I don't wear the body armor generally, is because I spend more time going in and out of my inventory, switching between key cards, that I just don't have it in me to also go in and constantly reapply my body armor. So, cover yourself with something or whatever. Just starting to really question Big Boss's commitment to this whole operation. It's like he put in his 2 weeks notice, 2 weeks ago, and it's his last day, and he cannot be bothered. Anyway, we've all been there. Not gonna judge him for that, at least. Ride the elevator up 1 floor right here. We got some more cameras once you get off. If you stay in the shadows at the top, you'll also be covered, generally speaking, from the cameras. Make use of that silencer right there. Again, I'm just not gonna wait around all day. We got POWs to save, and we can get some ammo right here, so let's make sure we Get our max at this point of 100 bullets for rank 2. Some plastics in the other room if you need them. You don't, but if you want to grab some, there they are. Can't be stealthy when we're instantly walking into their sight line, transmitter or not there. Use keycard 3 here. When you come out the other side, there's going to be one of those rollers, so just act quickly and get down to the bottom. That was close. More than enough bullets now to fire without worrying about running out of ammo. And again, unless they see you, they're not going to be alerted, so you can shoot all the guards that you need to, especially if they're sleeping, standing up. More landmines if you need them. Another door over here, almost missed it. Tell you, they blend into the walls so very well. I think we're going back to keycard 1 here. It's not like Bionic Commando where you get, well, I guess it was communicators in that game's case, but once you got the new communicator, you got to use that one until you got the next communicator. You know, it would be nice if we could just use the latest keycard every single time until we got a new one, but now the doors, or shoot this guy before he makes his way over to the electrifying the floor right there. Let's see, there's 3 or 4 keycard here, and there we go, yeah. Is what it is. But yeah, we're bouncing all over the place and picking up infrared goggles, Blaze.
Alright, the infrared beams will alert enemies to your presence. You can't see them unless you have these goggles. So, wear them in the right spots. The professor will mention when it's applicable to save yourself from tripping those beams.
Good luck. And we got Machine Gun Kid here. We're not going to face him just yet. Let's see what Diane has to say. Maybe we can finally get her on the phone. She was shopping earlier, then she was taking a shower. She's got to be available now, right? Here we go. Hello, this is Diane, your resistance fighter. Oh, okay. Any tips? Remote control missiles. Well, if you don't mind, I'm still gonna ask Gary.
Boss beater. Machine Gun Kid. You want to step into the opening and fire a few anticipatory shots, knowing that he's gonna pop out. Just repeat this pattern, just go back into cover, pop out, fire some shots, go into cover as you need to. He never learns. You're smarter than him, you'll take him down.
Thanks, Gary. And the glove?
Alright, the iron glove, kind of like Zelda style, when you're chipping at that wall to hear the weak spot. You can break some walls with this, but just having it in the inventory is necessary. We'll show you which walls you can use it on, and yeah, just blast away at those walls.
We'll show you where they are, don't worry about that. But, yeah, didn't need those remote explosives after all. Thanks to Gary's strategy right there. I feel like we just have one more POW to rescue to get our next rank up, but I have not been keeping track. We're going to be hitting them all in this game, so we have that max rank by the end. By hitting, I mean rescuing, not literally hitting. We don't want them to die. We can use our glasses right here to see that if we stick to the left side and head up here, we can avoid the beams. Go back to card 1. And is this our... There it is. Rank 3. The penultimate rank, if you will. So we have greater max health now. You just remember where those beams are. Just hug the wall and then cut up through there. Pop those on one more time. Again, this is probably just something we should keep on our heads the whole time. Just like the bulletproof vest over top of the uniform. But, you know. I do love this game. I don't want to... Don't mistake me here. At this point, I think we're going to head back on the elevator. This time, we're going to go up all the way to the top, to the roof. And this is where we're going to need to reach into our inventory and grab that blast suit, which Blaze told us about earlier. Yeah, I'm not surprised you left some details out. But again, Blaze mentioned we got to wear the suit. This is where we're using it. So pop that on, and while we're heading west on the roof here to grab some more ammo and max out for our new rank, let's go to Fluff for our first Fluff fact about Metal Gear for the NES.
Metal Gear for the NES is a port of the original title for the MSX2 computer. Unlike the MSX2 version, the port had zero involvement from series creator Hideo Kojima. Combined with the reality that the NES had technical limitations which the MSX2 didn't have, plus the fact that Konami only gave the development team in charge of this port 3 months to put it together, plus the fact that the higher-ups at Konami purportedly requested a number of changes for the NES version. Put all this together, and you have a number of differences between the original and the NES port. Perhaps most notably is that one of the most famous bosses from the original version, plus the namesake of the game, the Metal Gear weapon itself, is absent from the NES version due to its hardware limitations. Instead, it was replaced by a stationary supercomputer which just sits there as you blow it up.
Pretty lame. Yeah, that's why I mentioned that we don't need to worry about any threats of the Metal Gear weapon, nuclear weapons, anything like that, because it doesn't exist in this game. Kind of takes the pressure off, right? Anyway, grab our first POW post-rank 3, just a few more in this game to rescue, actually, to get that max level. Doesn't seem fair that you need to rescue 5 of them to get an upgrade to your rank, but you only need to kill 1 to lose a level on your rank, you know? What's that about? Not suggesting we should be able to kill a few POWs. It sounds like that's what I'm suggesting, but it's not. This screen is tricky. Just move with the curves, if you will, or the what have you, otherwise you'll drop down and be very frustrated. So when you come to the screen on the left, you need to be in the right position to ensure that you can get through here without alerting the enemies to your presence. So otherwise, that one on the bottom will electrify the fence, or the floor. I was thinking Ren and Stimpy right there. So take him out. He'll be there on the way out as well, so you gotta be ready for that once we pop back out. But here we go. Mentioned finding the mines earlier, Blaze.
Alright, the landmine detector, the metal detector, this shows you the location of landmines. When they are on the screen, the professor will show you when to use this, but there you go. Avoid those landmines.
There you go. Thank you very much, Blaze. Look at him doing his job. I like to make these guys feel valued every now and then. Maybe that's not my ultimate job, but looking pretty good on handgun ammunition right now. Ooh, got another boss right here. Let's take cover over here in the top right. And let's see if Diane's around to give us tips on this one. I like comparing her strategy, I put in quotes, because she doesn't really tell you a whole lot. Doesn't go into the depth that our resident boss expert Gary does, but if nothing else, it makes you appreciate who we have on staff. Twin shot. Alright, grenade launcher. Simple enough. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, the twin shot. You'll be completely safe. At the start of the battle, run to the top right wall, hide behind that, get out that grenade launcher, fire 10 to the left, you'll take down the first one, move to the middle wall, aim to the left, do the same thing, and you win.
There you go. It's a hack for all these bosses. Good call, Gary. Thank you very much. And we have more than enough grenades to last us the rest of the game, but oh, Dr. Pettrovich has been transported somewhere else, it looks like, kind of like Super Joe. Bionic Commando. You would think it would be keycard 4 here, but no. Keycard 2. Alright, what do you know, lesser prisoner? Any information? Yep. Building number 2, that's where it's all going down. Alright, so this part's gonna be a little boring as we're gonna backtrack and just make sure all of our ammo and rations and all that stuff is topped off. So we're going to speed it up a little bit here and bring in Fluff to keep us entertained with another Fluff fact about Metal Gear. Fluff?
I talked about some of the differences between the MSX2 version of Metal Gear and the subsequent ports, but a few differences also exist between the Famicom and NES, as well as the European PAL released versions. One interesting nugget is that the letters which could be used to spell out profanity were removed from the password input screen in the PAL version of Metal Gear for the NES. This was done by Nintendo in an attempt to stop developers from using profanity in their passwords, as is definitely the case if you type in FUCKME followed by a whole bunch of ones, as this appropriately puts you at the final boss fight without any of your equipment.
Good call, Fluff. Yeah, I had to blur that out there, but yeah, I was surprised when I gave that a try, and it definitely worked out. So we have our rations topped off. We have near full ammo to this point at 200 bullets. It's a shame that we don't get another bonus of 100 with the final rank. It just goes up 50 at that point, but again, gotta pop on that gas mask for that tiny little stretch right there. Head back, down the elevator, down and around. Grab some landmines from this. These are actually important for this next boss. Head through this door and outside. And this brings us up to speed where we can slow things down. Head north a couple times. This is the minefield screen right here. This is the perfect opportunity for us to test out our metal detector. Just use it in your inventory and look at that. I'm not sure that's how metal detectors work, but all the mines are revealed right there just by doing that right there. And let's check in with Diane. See what her strategy is for this one before we go to Gary. Try blowing up the tanks. There's multiple tanks with your mines. Alright. Gary, can you give me a little bit more?
Boss beaters. The tank. Remember, every time you go to that pause screen in your inventory or weapon menu, you reset the boss's position so the tank will go back to the top of the screen. We can use this to our advantage as we pop out behind that right wall, drop 3 of our landmines, hide again, let it run over those landmines, reset the tank's location by going into the weapons menu, repeating the process until the tank has been destroyed.
There you go. Thank you very much, Gary. Out of an abundance of caution, just went back and topped off our rations and bullets and things like that for the most part. So, just skip that so you didn't have to see more gameplay than necessary. And this is building 2. Let's get Big Boss. Get his input here if he can be bothered. And he's telling us, like we said when we shared the frequencies earlier, Big Boss is now accessible via 120.13. Although I'm not sure we want to write down that frequency. He's been so useless throughout most of this game. But yes, this is the time to switch over to the enemy uniform. In your inventory, pop that on. And actually, before we head inside, we might as well check in with our other frequencies to get the updates right here. So if we dial back up to the 120.33, expecting Diane, she'll give us a message, or she should, reflecting the new frequency. So we're now using 120.91. Even more frustrating, the gap between Big Boss and Diane's new frequencies, but there you go. Okay, in we go. Did I just say that out loud? Is that something a normal officer would say? Or I guess they're saying that to us and they just have no grasp of the English language. That would make more sense. But here we are, building number 2, base number 2. When you go in the water, you can go in this shallow area. When there's a darker area shown in the water, we'll need a special item to do that, but first things first, let's head up through here, and we have another boss, so let's throw it back to Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, the Bulldozer. Just stay at the bottom of the screen, wait like 2 seconds like we show, and just fire 8 grenades, one after another to take him down.
Using those grenades again, going through them pretty quick. Again, I think if we hadn't picked up any more grenades before, that still would have been more than enough to complete this game. That might be the last boss in which we really need to use those, but there you go. Much smaller window to deal with here. Yeah, I got zapped a little bit there. That's alright. Sometimes it's tough to get through those unscathed. And this is that deeper water I was referring to before. Just go around it until we have the items which we need. This one is card 2, I believe. Yep, there we go. Is it worth? Alright, we're already on 2013. See what he says. Seem to be having an issue with our transceiver here. But we have an antenna, it looks like, on this table. Blaze, what can you tell us about it?
Alright, the antenna allows your transceiver to work in otherwise jammed areas.
There you go. That was jamming our communicate. So what? That just the antenna sitting on a desk was... It's much better in our pants, I suppose. Alright, go back to our handgun here. And yeah, more than enough bullets to worry about ammo at this point, so just fire away whenever the mood should strike you. With the exception of course, if there's a POW on the screen. Speaking of which, let's go rescue another one by going up to the roof here. Pop these goggles back on. And we got POW and another key card at least to grab on the roof of this building. So while we're riding this all the way up and taking care of business, let's bring in Fluff for another Fluff fact about Metal Gear.
Those familiar with Hideo Kojima's library of work know that he's a huge fan of the horror genre. I'm still miffed we never got a fully fleshed version of his playable teaser game, but Kojima actually said that he initially wanted to make an action horror game early on, but felt that between games like Castlevania and Ghosts and Goblins, 2 games which we've done classes here on Video Games 101 for already, link to the playlist in the description by the way, he felt they did such a good job with that genre with those games that there was nothing more that he could add to it. So instead, he turned his sights toward making one of the earliest stealth-based action games in Metal Gear, one of the earliest good ones at least. Despite the combined rage that those 2 games created, I guess we should be thankful to them for giving us a game and series in Metal Gear which may not have existed without them.
Kind of crazy to think about, and actually I respect Hideo Kojima even more now, considering the fact that he said, you know what, these games have already been made, I like these games, I respect what they did for the genre that I kind of wanted to make a game for, so I'm going to do something else instead of just repeating the same thing over and over again. Although in 1989-ish, 88, that wasn't too much of an issue, you know. Sort of the first years of video game developers copying off of one another, at least on consoles, obviously, but yeah. And I'm sure Kojima would have made an awesome game in that genre for the NES, but anyway, I digress. Sweet Home, by the way, I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's a Japanese-only horror title for the NES from Capcom, or the Famicom, I suppose I should say, but very solid title, actually. It's kind of impressive how creepy they were able to make an offering on the Famicom in the late 80s. Difficult to do. Kind of liken it to the feeling I got when I was playing Clock Tower for the Super Nintendo for the first time. As an adult, by the way, first time I ever played it, you wouldn't think a Super Nintendo game was capable of scaring the bejesus out of you, but that game will do it. Something about a small, pudgy child with a giant pair of garden shears. I guess a normal-sized pair of garden shears, but regardless, yeah, it's a disturbing game to say the least. As we're still working our way through Building 2 here, we have another POW to rescue, another key card to be recovered. Not the most practical design, putting looks like a giant river right through the middle of your base. I guess that's to deter people from going up to whatever that area is that we'll come upon before too long once we get that oxygen tank. But here's another POW in our cap. Far end of the lock connects to Building 3. Building 2, and Arnold has the card to the door. There we go, another boss we'll have to take down. Look at that, we got Diane, we got this rando, and we got Gary. Arnold doesn't stand a chance. Now we gotta go up and around to grab key card number 6, I believe. Most ridiculous layout to get to this. There you go, card number 6. Now we need to locate the elevator, take it 1 floor, and we'll use keycard 6 to grab our next item, as well as get closer to the Arnolds, who that last POW alluded to. Gave us a little hint right there. Yeah, take this up here. We have the infrared beams again. If you care, you can pop on the goggles. See if we can get through here without getting zapped at the top. Moving pretty quick. There we go. Yeah, we're just going to take this up 1 floor, not going up to the roof this time. This is where we're using our brand new keycard 6 to get ourselves the Antidote. Antidote? Blaze?
If you get poison in the desert, you can use this item to cure that on demand.
Thanks, Blaze. Didn't even attempt saying Antidote after I flubbed it myself. Don't blame him. Alright, so we're gonna... Let's see, is this 5? This case? Nope. I think you remember these things. Sometimes you just say, alright, let's just start at the bottom. Alright, Arnold, coming in hot. Whenever you need to reset the boss location, don't forget, just go into an item menu, transceiver. This will send the Arnold back to the right. This is Diane's new frequency. That guy Arnold girding the door, he's invincible. Better get out of here. Alright. Fair enough. Won't even mess with him at this point then. He's one of the other, good lord, 5 doors in this room. One of the other 5 doors. We'll have a POW here who will give us a hint on the final contact we have not made contact with yet, Jennifer, on waveband 12048. She'll give you direct support, but, big but, she's a snob. She probably won't answer you unless you are pretty classy. And there you go. Ironically, that was the POW we needed to rescue, or the 15th one, I suppose, in order to get to rank 4, the max rank, or the highest class, which we'll need to get Jennifer to acknowledge us. Snob or not, we just appreciate the support. And we're actually going to call on her sooner than later, so let's try out that now that we're on rank 4. Go to 12048. Send out a message on this frequency. Hopefully she'll respond. No? Let's leave the room. Let's try it again now that we're not inside that room. And here you go, Jennifer. She'll set up the rocket launchers. Come and get them. Over. Don't be more specific as to where you're setting this up or how you got in and out of this room. That's fine. Blaze, rocket launchers?
The rocket launcher just fires a straight shot rocket across the screen. Very powerful, very useful against certain bosses, as Gary will mention.
Good call. Yeah, so you do need to get to rank 4. Make sure you've saved every single POW to this point. Haven't shot any of them, otherwise can't get the rockets, which we'll need to take down the Arnolds in this next room, if I could remember the Which of the thousands of keycards in my pocket will work for these guys? We're still not quite ready for them though, so we're going to go through this bottom left door. Again, just go into your weapons menu to reset the guy, get him off your tail while you fumble through your keycards. That's the one, number 1. I wanted to punch a guy for old time's sake, and you saw how that went. His guns are the way of the future. So be it. Gonna head down and around into this room where we'll find 3 ammo containers, which is very handy considering we just maxed out our rankings, so we have the max level of 250 rounds of ammunition now, so we'll grab 3 more of these to ensure that we have 250. If you don't feel like walking, save the legs. Just go into your transceiver. And there we go. Do not hesitate to fire your gun from this stage in the game. If you're a little bit more conservative earlier, there's really no point at this stage in the game. More than enough ammo to shoot everyone and their dog in this game multiple times over. And of course, I mean those mean dogs that are trying to kill us. Self-defense. Don't hurt dogs. That's the Video Games 101 motto. Little conga line there, except that guy shot me in the back. Continue up this path here, and this is a card 6 situation to open this door. And finally, oh, never mind. Can't even spell his name right. So lazy. Watch out for that pit. Doesn't matter if you save him with the pause trick or not. Still looking for the real Dr. Pettrovich, who we'll need for tips on beating the penultimate boss. Although I think Fluff has a hack where you actually don't even need to fight that boss. We'll bring him in a little bit later once we get closer to that. But for tips on how to beat, we're finally gonna take him on Arnold. Here's Gary.
Boss beater.
Right, the Arnolds. There's a sweet spot with that top Arnold where you can stand just below him so that basically your head is just below that top, or the bottom of the top wall. You can fire 4 rockets at that Arnold's feet. He'll go down, and then do the same thing on the bottom one. There's not a sweet spot for that, but he'll start charging at you. If he sees you, you can get 1 or 2 shots off, then retreat, pop back in and hit him again. But not a big deal. You probably have plenty of rations. You can take getting hit once. Either way, not a hard battle.
Not in the least, thank you very much, Gary. Still have plenty of rockets to make a fun commute home. See, they're very effective against these low-level guys, but why waste them? We got plenty of handgun ammo. Call Jennifer outside this door. She'll set up another invaluable item which we need to beat the game in this room. Yeah, you can switch over to that submachine gun if you really want to blast away these guys at this point. You certainly should have the ammo for it, but anyway, info on the compass, Blaze.
Alright, the compass. You cannot cross the desert without this. It'll just be an endless maze. Make sure you have the compass. Follow the directions as the professor mentions when you're in the desert. But there you go. Just gotta have the compass.
Literally can't beat the game without it, so there you go. Make sure you have that. We'll equip it once we get to the desert. Otherwise, they'll just be going in circles. Screen after screen of scorpions as far as the eye can see. Card 5. There we go. And we got card 7 from the Arnolds. Just 1 more key card. Thank goodness. And health's getting a little low here. Don't be afraid to use those rations as necessary. You can have 12 when you're at this rank, by the way. So next time we see some rations, let's make it a point to max them out. This is just icing at this point, saving these POWs. They put them in, I guess, in case you haven't found enough to get Diane on your side or get to rank level 4. That guy was doing a bang-up job. Whatever they're paying you, not enough. All right, we're going to take this down to the ground, exit the building to the desert. To get outside, we'll follow this path here, and we'll need that card 7, which we got from the Arnolds, to unlock the door to the desert. Back door here. And once we get outside, then it's time to equip the compass so that we are not going around in circles. I like to stick to the right side of the screen. In the NES version, it's very easy to avoid the scorpions. But in the MSX2 computer version, they're a bit more aggressive. If one of them does manage to hit you, then just go ahead and use that antidote. If they're a little too close to the right side, then just give them a nice shot, cheery shot from your gun. That'll take them out very quickly. You can call Jennifer's frequency, and I guess she's hanging out with Diane right now. Giving us the hot tip that if you get poisoned, use an antidote. Thanks, Diane. I was really just trying to reach out to Jennifer. She seems much more capable than anyone else in this game. Much more competent. Can I call Big Boss while I'm out here? Does he have any useless, redundant information for us? I guess not. Maybe we broadcasted that and hurt his feelings. I don't know. Anyway, gonna head north here. And let's answer this call here. All right, Big Boss, finally calling. Get in the truck over on the right. Interesting advice. Well, as I said, I'm starting to doubt Big Boss, but this is not actually the truck he was referring to. He was talking about the top right. And if we do get in that truck, I'll just, spoiler alert, it's going to take us where we don't want to go. So let's ignore that advice from Big Boss. I think he's a little off his game. We'll give him one last chance. Alright, a little busy right here. They must have known we were coming. Getting a call here. Go through the door on the left. Alright, if we do that, then we will... Let me just show you. Be ready to leave just as quickly, by the way. Keycard 1. If you go to the left, yep. Alright, so I don't think we can trust Big Boss anymore, you guys. Class. So let's not. Let's ignore his calls. This is where we definitely want to be using the pause feature right here as soon as you see that pit opening up. Right there. And just remember that that black spot is invisible now, but it's still open. The rest of it is closed, but... And then there's one more up to the top. Right in front of the door, essentially. If we just hug this wall, it's not going to trigger, so... Gonna ride this elevator all the way down. All the way down. Was this screen necessary? I don't know. I guess just really drive home the scale of the building. Was this screen necessary? Kind of thinking like a Link's Adventure, like you can jump through the wall there, but no, not the case. I like where your mind's at, though, class. If you did have that thought. So we're about to get a very useful item from Jennifer. Like before, we need to, I think it's keycard 7, but we're going to give her a call on the radio first, just so she can set things up for us in this room before we head inside. 12048, hopefully Diane's not still there. Look for the oxygen tank over beyond the door. Over beyond the door. Very useful item, necessary one at that. Blaze?
Alright, the oxygen tank, you need this for relatively late in the game to go into deeper water to get to further areas that you couldn't otherwise access. Gotta have the oxygen tank.
Good call, Blaze. Thank you very much. Operation Intrude N313 canceled. Oh, Big Boss is saying that mission's over. Should we Should we listen to him, class? I say we press on. I don't think much of Big Boss anymore. He tried to get us killed a couple rooms back. By the way, if you just go through all the frequencies, it'll stop on 179 or 120.79 here, and Jennifer she's jumping around frequencies. I don't like that. Just keep one set frequency, each of you. And if you're going to change it, at least stick to it, you know? Don't change frequencies with Diane out in the desert and just trying to confuse us. It's bad enough that Big Boss seems to be trying to kill us. Diane's always taking showers or she's out shopping a lot of the time. And her roommate's been kind of rude to us on top of that. Anyway, we're speeding this up obviously as we're backtracking back to Building 2. Where we can finally go in the deep water here. So pop on that oxygen tank. You finally come out the other side. These guys are really inept. Yeah, be careful where you step out there. That was my mistake. Use one of our guided missiles for a change again. There we go. First try. Remember, there's a slight delay, so just react with the changes a little sooner than you might mean to get the best results there. Alright, we get a 3-for-1 here with rescuing POWs against Coward Duck. He's egging us on. Let's see if we can get Jennifer for a change. Alright, capable help. I like it. It's a good tip. Don't shoot any of the prisoners in front of Coward Duck. So with tips on how to avoid doing that, let's go back to Gary.
Boss beater.
A Coward Duck, true to his name, hiding behind prisoners. At the start, you just want to run to the top left position behind that top left prisoner. Do not fire until you're in that spot. You don't want to accidentally hit a prisoner that will severely cost you in the context of this game. But just aim to the right as soon as you get up there. Put 10 bullets into Cowardly Duck, and you probably only get hit once by his little boomerangs or whatever. But yeah, you'll take him down.
Good call, Gary. Thank you very much. Everyone survived. Speaking of everyone surviving, if you don't want Schneider to be killed or mortally wounded, same thing, mortally wounded, killed, it's not a good time either way. Maybe don't answer your radio in this door here, just grab the ammo, but we'll show you right here. Schneider is unmasked, leader of the enemy fortress, and it's pretty believable. I feel like most of our class has already put the pieces together and figured out what's going on here, but definitely top off your ammo if you need to in this moment. And just shoot that to get back across. I'm not sure who's sneaking back into these rooms and fixing the security systems after we destroy it with a rocket each time, or a missile, what have you. But yeah, someone's doing it. They are getting paid enough, whoever's doing that. The rest of these guys, not so much. Just blissfully unaware of us walking right by in a lot of cases. Sleeping on the job. But I get it, you know, you feel asleep, you feel asleep. Not much you can do. So we're gonna head back to the desert at this point, and we need to use a certain sequence, a certain order of going on the screens to break out of a little bit of a maze here. We're going to head just above the scorpions, but right before that building out here in the desert. So we will need our compass just to get back to the area above the scorpions. Head over to the right here to try avoiding as many of these scorpions as possible. Just pop that one right there. No antidote for that, is there, Scorpion? I don't know why I'm taunting the Scorpion that I just shot. Alright, so the order from this screen is left 3 times, up 1, left 1 more time to get to the next building we need to go to. They love these puzzles, though, in their NES games back in the day. It's like Legend of Zelda. It's probably where he got the idea from, actually, when you're just south of the graveyard in that one little maze area. But anyway, keycard 6 will open this door. Oh, Schneider's not dead. That's good. Thought that you had gotten... Well, whatever. He did say ARG pretty dramatically, but that's fine. Keycard 5 here? Yeah, why not? Just said they're just pulling these out of a hat at this point. Not sure how the bad guys even figured this out, you know? Probably why we never see enemies in any of those rooms, because they don't have the keycards. They just leave them carelessly strewn all about the rest of the world here, as far as this game is concerned. Card 3? There we go. Pop that gas mask on as soon as you come through here. Another room which is unaccountably full of lethal gas. Whole area, really. Thankfully they didn't lock that door. Little hint as to what's coming up ahead here. They have plenty of plastic explosives free to pick up. You'll need 16 to finish the game, so if you maxed out, you need to be rank 4 essentially to defeat the boss, which plastic explosives are required, so just make sure you have enough. And we find the flashlight in this room, probably pretty straightforward, but Blaze?
Alright, the flashlight. No surprises here, lights up the dark. Very specific point in the game when you need to use this, but there you go, the flashlight.
Need to know how to use it. You mean pushing the button or pushing the little tab up? I guess that's the whole... I just proved his point. There are multiple ways which flashlights can be turned on in terms of design, so you gotta know which way it is to use it. Alright, so Schneider is 120-16, like we didn't already know that we could do this, but this is a good tip because if we go to the left right here, punch the wall. Fire Trooper. Want to see me roast you alive? Is that a rhetorical question? Should we not be answering that? Let's go up and 120... Is it 91? Yeah. Steve, Diane. He's starting to get jealous. I understand. We are Snake. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Fire Trooper, you want to run to the edge of that wall, and then when you have that opening with his flamethrower, you want to basically duck in, get right next to him, and then fire 15 bullets into him and take him down.
Good call, Gary. Yeah, just getting in that little sweet spot right around the corner right there. And then keycard 6 to get this door open, and finally, the real deal. Finally, Dr. Pettrovich. Now we gotta go rescue. We already put up the trope list. We don't need to throw it up there again. So before he'll tell us how to defeat the weapon, which isn't even in this game, we have to go rescue his daughter. So we'll go do that right quick. We are coming up on the end here, though. Not too much more. Couple more bosses. Throw that gas mask on again. Or just ration your way through at this point. We have more than enough rations to get through the rest of the game for the most part, but it's a waste of good canned goods, I suppose. I assume it's good canned goods. Canned something from the looks of it. Never get over the fact that you need to take off the gas mask to reach into your pocket and find the particular keycard that you're looking for there. Maybe it's just very thick goggles on the gas mask. Very difficult to see through. So this is a bit sneaky here. We need to come through this door and then pop that gas mask back on and punch through this wall right here. There you go, hidden passage cutting through this area. continue around this bend. If you want, there's another POW trapped in this room right here. At this point, we don't really need to save anymore. We already have the max rank. This one's not even giving us any information. It's completely expendable as far as we're concerned, but Snake's a good guy. What can I say? There's some more rations in this room down here. Good opportunity to top off your rations. You should have 12 by the time you leave this room. Nothing like fumbling with your keys while you're being poisoned to death by toxic gas right here. Just fumbling about trying to find the right key card. Can't imagine they go through this every time they want some of these rations. Which aren't even on the desk, by the way, just floor rations. And while we're stocking up to 12, let's bring in Fluff for another Fluff fact about Metal Gear. Fluff?
Metal Gear was a relatively big success on the NES, selling roughly 1 million copies. So Konami financed a sequel for the NES entitled Snake's Revenge. Just like with the NES port of the original Metal Gear, Hideo Kojima was not involved. Reportedly, Kojima wasn't too happy about this, so he created his own sequel, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, for the MSX2 computer.
Thank you, Fluff. Yeah, I guess the writing was on the wall even back in the late 80s that punched down a little bit lower right there. That Kojima and Konami did not get along, obviously, ultimately led to their divorce. Decades later. If you need some more ammunition, you can punch through here. Top off your gun ammo. We're all maxed out, looking good. All just window dressing at this point. We're not going to need 12 rations or 250 bullets from here on out, but you never know. Always good to be prepared. Not one of the Briggs notes, strictly speaking, but... Alright, now, finally, we get a use for that flashlight. How you doing? Enemy pit traps. Excellent advice. Thank you, Diane. Anyone else want to chat here? Schneider's at 12016. Let's see if he'll respond. There he is. Still relatively alive. Nope. Actually, the flashlight is in our pants because we grabbed it earlier. So just go into your inventory. Use the flashlight, and just like that. Still be aware that there are pits. Don't want to fall into enemy pits, like Diane recommended. A couple bad ones right here, so just be ready. We avoided one by hugging the top of the screen right there. We got another one here. Just be aware of where they are when you use that hack right there, where the pit was when you went into that menu. Guess, yeah, floors caving in left and right, power's going out. How has OSHA not condemned this place? This is a little ridiculous. Yeah, this is a nasty one right here on the right. Got one more down, kind of in the middle of this next screen. Be careful, be ready. There we go. And then, yeah, one more on the right for good measure in case you were thinking, I'll just go around to the right to avoid that. Nope. Going back to card 1 for old time's sake. Bunch of sleeping pups here. And finally, if I can remember what card we got here, we will find Pettrovich's daughter, who's been kidnapped. Oh wait, empty room. Wait for it. Punch the wall right there. Super sneaky. There she is. The awful Metal Gear, which does not exist. Never get tired of saying that. Alright, so yeah, that was a big pain in the you-know-what, but now we're gonna go all the way back to Dr. Pettrovich and just... I guess he'll go by our word alone. It's the honor system here. Did you rescue my daughter? Sure. I've been gone for 10 minutes, so yeah, as far as you know, your daughter's safe. But he will teach us how to take down the weapon, which does not exist in this game. I guess he kind of tailors it to this game, and so in that sense, we still do need to see Dr. Pettrovich. But yeah, the penultimate boss, not nearly as cool in this game as a result, as Fluff mentioned, but anyway. Let's kind of speed this up as we head back to the building that Pettrovich was in, and let's bring in Fluff for another Fluff fact while we do it. We're leaning hard on him right now. It's just a lot of repetitive walking around, getting back to places we've already been. Fluff?
We like to mention the box art when it's especially bad in these classes, but truth be told, Metal Gear's is pretty decent. If it looks familiar to you, then you have very good eyes, as it was heavily influenced by the Kyle Reese character in 1984's Terminator.
Very good. Yeah, I'd be curious if anyone in class did make that connection without knowing it ahead of time, but yeah, pretty obvious when you see the two shots next to each other. And we are finally back at Dr. Pettrovich. Saved your daughter as far as you know. Yes, we've already been through this, Dr. Pettrovich. I know they've been torturing you, presumably, but 20 kilometers north in the sub-basement 100 of building... There you go. Set plastic explosives on the supercomputer that controls all the Metal Gear functions. There you go. Simple. That's how they still made it work. Need 16 plastic explosives. Yeah, there was more strategy involved, or more of a clue and a puzzle. Not so much here. We just need 16 plastic explosives, which you can only have being rank 4. Make sure you're stocked up as we speed this up as we get to that final building, or to the basement of that building. And actually, let's get one last Fluff fact, this time about that supercomputer, and a little hack before we actually get to it from Fluff.
If you find yourself saying late in this game, I don't want to fight some douchey computer, I want to take down Metal Gear. Well, can't help you there, but you can skip the douchey computer by holding right as soon as you walk into the room. This will teleport you to the battle with Big Boss, the final boss in Metal Gear. And better yet, you won't have a timer to deal with if you do this.
There you go. Yeah, that one more POW for good measure. The leader of the enemy fortress is the supreme commander of Foxhounder, the big boss. Wow, what a twist. Did everybody get that like an hour ago, by the way? Certainly by the time he was telling us to go into rooms which were going to kill us. Fool me once, big boss, but like fool me 7 times later, come on. Shame on me at that point. He keeps trying though, you can't blame him for trying. There had to have been one kid in 1988 who was thinking, well, I better go home, big boss sounds serious. Not us. Not us. Yeah, good call. Thanks, Jennifer. The only competent person on the entirety of the Resistance, from what I can tell. Kyle has its moments. All that's left to do at this point is to put on the occasional gas mask and know which keycard to use on different doors. I always like it when they throw basic obstacles that they threw at you in the first, like, 1/10 of the game. They throw those very late. Might be an opening pit right there, so let's hold the right wall. Try to fish out the right keycard once again. And one more room of toxic gas for good measure. Hey, if it didn't stop us the first, dozen times, maybe the 13th time's the charm. As far as Big Boss is concerned, still can't believe that he double-crossed us like that. That is a nice twist, though, I have to say. I joke because we've seen that so many times, but in 1987, pretty cool. Pretty mind-blowing, actually, and probably the first time I played this, had that same reaction, like, what? Big Boss? Just thought he was off his meds or something. Not even anything to blow up in this room, just ration your way through it. A little too close for my comfort there at the end. It really does drop quickly, but anyway. Supercomputer, Gary.
Boss
The
beaters.
supercomputer. No strategy here, just watch out for those 4 enemies that are right at the door when you walk in. Take them down, use your automatic machine gun, your submachine gun, whatever it is, whatever Blaze said. Take them down, but then get your plastic explosives out. Just drop 16 to take him down.
Alright, not 15, not 17. 16 explosives, 0 strategy required. Don't even bother moving. Remember when Big Boss was like, use them anywhere you like? Not sure he had the supercomputer in mind when he said that. What seems like a lifetime ago. Back when I kind of trusted you, Big Boss. Don't worry, we have an actual final boss after this. Fortress. Not as bad as, I mean, you know, a typo is one thing, so. Alright, so at this point we can, as Blaze mentioned, use our cigarettes to give ourselves an extra 1,000 seconds. They do count down very quickly, but yeah, we figured that out. That POW told us, plus we figured that out probably an hour and some change ago. It was a good plan. You were too good. I mean, probably kill you pretty easily. I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact that Gary has a really simple strategy for taking him down, so let's see if Diane has any last-minute advice. Nope. Well, that's why you're not one of our TAs, Diane. Let's bring in our resident boss expert one last time today for Metal Gear. Gary, take us home.
Boss beaters.
All right, Big Boss, the final boss in Metal Gear. Can you believe it? We've been double-crossed. You want to reset him at the start if you need to, once you're at that top left crate, but there's a sweet spot as we show right here. Get to the top right of that top right crate. You'll force him into a little pattern where he's running left to right at the bottom of the screen, in and out of cover, where he doesn't shoot at you. Just get those rockets off at him. When he pops out, 10 rockets takes him down, and just like that, you have beaten Metal Gear, but it's not quite over yet. You gotta get out alive. Good luck.
Good call, Gary. Smoke him if you got him right here, class. Only time we'll ever recommend that. To give you a little extra time right here. Slowest elevator. You don't really realize that until you have a timer going down, but presumably we got out. I don't like going from that shot of us in the elevator immediately to a massive explosion, but the Metal Gear has been destroyed. Operation Intrude N313 is a success despite its lackluster name. Very forgettable name. Back to base. Anyone else to check with? Got Station KNK bringing you a spot news report. Today at dawn, there was apparently a large-scale earth tremor. There you go, in the region of Galsburg, South Africa. Unrelated, I'm sure. Oh, Kojima. Messing with our brains here at the end. No stranger to breaking the fourth wall. But that's a fun way of delivering the credits here at the end. Fantastic game, though. Hopefully this Metal Gear NES walkthrough helped you out. If it did, please consider subscribing. We do one of these classes every single week in the same spot. We'd love to have you enrolled. And leave a like on this video. It really does help us out to make future classes for you. Leave a comment. Have you beaten this game before? Were you like me as a kid? It was a little too complicated and you just gave up on it? Or did you just keep working until you figured it out? Either way, that's our time. We'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class, right here on Video Games 101. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.